Okay, people, I just saw a story on Fox News and I wanted to explain it in better detail because there's a lot of people that probably will not understand what's going on. First of all, the story involves New York City. Now, where in the heck is New York City? And you say, well, why do we even care about New York City? Well, if you've ever watched repo games, you'll know why I have to explain this a little bit differently than I would any other time. Okay? Now, New York is a state in the northeastern part of the United States. Now, New York State contains a city called New York City. That's right, New York State has an actual New York City. Now, New York City is on the southeastern corner of New York State. This is the same New York City that had the World Trade Center towers, which got struck by airplanes and were destroyed. So we're talking about that same New York City. Okay. Now here's what was going on. There was a whole bunch of Medicaid fraud. Now what is Medicaid? Alright, you have these people and they're poor. Some of them have low-paying jobs. Some of them don't even have jobs at all. So certainly they're not going to be able to afford medical care. And they probably won't be able to afford food either. So because they can't afford medical care, they go to Medicaid. They say, look, we need help. So Medicaid gives these indigent people a card. Now what is an indigent person? Okay. An indigent person is a person that has very little income resources or can't get a job at all. So it's either the unemployed or the people that really make very low salaries. Okay? That's an indigent person. Okay, so these indigent people, they go to Medicaid. They say, we need a card. They give them a card. Medicaid gives cards to these indigent people. Now these indigent people, they are sick. Some have asthma. Some have AIDS. Some even have MRSA. Okay? And some have hepatitis. Some have other diseases. Doesn't matter what the disease is, they've got to have prescription drugs to take care of these diseases. So, these indigent people, they go see a doctor. And they hand the Medicaid card to the doctor. Not all doctors will see Medicaid patients. So the ones that do take the card, they write a prescription out for the indigent person, and then the doctor, instead of billing the person, okay, so the doctor's not billing the individual because the individual doesn't have any money. This indigent person does not have any money, so the doctor doesn't bill them. He also doesn't bill an insurance company because these indigent people do not have an insurance company. So what he does instead is he bills Medicaid. Okay. So then, the indigent person, I'm going to show you this little diagram here. The indigent person, he goes to the pharmacy. Now, not all pharmacies will honor Medicaid. But the ones who do will then give this indigent person the pills he needs. But this pharmacy will not bill the indigent person. No, this pharmacy will bill Medicaid. That's what M stands for. Okay? Now, this indigent person is used to rationing things. When you are poor enough, you will ration everything. And that also includes medication. So he rations food, he rations medication, so he has a little bit of medication left over. He figures that he can take the minimum amount and get away with it. Sometimes you can pull that off, sometimes you can't. But he figures he can. So he takes the extra pills and he finds a street person. See this street person right here? He says, look, he says, I will sell you my extra pills for X amount of dollars so I can go buy food for my family. And so that's what that street person does. He takes the indigent person's pills and gives them a little bit of money. Now this street person marks that up a little bit. And he goes to a pharmaceutical distributor. Now what is a pharmaceutical distributor? These are the guys that either make pharmaceutical pills, okay, or they get pharmaceutical pills at a wholesale price and then sell it to the pharmacies, okay? So these street people, they get a little bit of a conglomerate together, and they go up to this distributor and they say, look, we will sell you X and Y pills at a real cheap cost, and that way we can have some money. Usually these kind of street people, they're probably either hooked on drugs or they just want an extra amount of money, you know, it's a little extra bonus pay for them or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that these street people are now getting money from these pharmacy distribution centers. Now, not all of these distribution centers deal with street people. The ones who do will pay them money for these pills. Then what they'll do is they'll distribute those pills to pharmacies. And then the pharmacies can sell those pills for a profit. That's why it's called Medicaid fraud, because Medicaid was the people who originally paid for those pills in the first place. So, 48 people have been caught and arrested on this, and they're probably going to go to jail because they defrauded Medicare. Some of these people are the street people, and some of them are probably executives of these distribution centers. Because let me tell you something, you mess around with the federal government will mess around with you. And that's how that works. But anyway, it'll be an interesting story to follow. I hope you guys do so. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.